Good morning, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news. And look, I don't do the news. We're talking the news. It's not necessarily great news. It could be good news. We could still sign Fernandes. Some people are still putting it out there, but some people are saying that he's very close to signing for Tottenham. But I want to start off talking about Tchouameni. A big update coming in from Fabrizio Romano. Are Man United in for Boadi? I'll let you make your mind up because there is a report this morning about that. Cunha's tearing it up in the World Cup and some interesting stuff coming out about Lenny Yoro. 2 years on, Man United still think £50 million for Yoro was a major coup. I would imagine that if you spend £50 million on a player, you'd expect that return to be showing a little bit more than it is after 2 years. But look, I like the player. Let's see. Lots to get into on the show this morning. Hope you're doing very well. The big statement we're going to start off with, though, is in relation to Tchouameni. And this came in from Fabrizio Romano in the last few hours. And what he's basically saying is that Manchester United, Tchouameni has a big salary, and at the moment it is not what Man United want to do. Also, Real Madrid are yet to open the door for his exit, and if they do, Man United would be ready to understand the situation. So in essence, what Fabrizio is saying is that with regards to Tchouameni, if Man United were to move for him, the wage is too high. It's a very big wage, and Man United would not want to pay it. Matti Moretto, who works with Romano, has said that Real Madrid would consider offers of around 75 million for him as well. Man United are interested, though there's no indication that the French midfielder wants to leave. Look, I think that... Look, I don't think we're very good at transfers. Shock horror. And as Orca said, why are we looking at players we can't afford? I think this is the baffling thing about the summer transfer window for Man United so far. We've known bad windows. We've known exciting windows. We've had despair, and then we'll find £150 million from nowhere. But I feel like this transfer window, Manchester United are in third place in the Champions League with an inexperienced coach, and they need to be ambitious. And you know what? Whether it's Elliot Anderson, Tonali, Tchouameni, and I'll leave it at those three players, because forget the Fernandeses and the Scotts and the Belabers for a moment. Let's just focus on the fact that we sometimes get lost that we need three midfielders. We need a marquee midfielder to replace Casemiro to play next to Mainu. Forget the left back, forget the other two midfielders, forget Ederson. We needed and do need an absolute marquee signing. And they're a marquee signing not because it's a big paycheck or a big wage, but because they come in with a pedigree to replace Casemiro in that team. I would have expected Manchester United to be fighting for these deals like the third camel on the ramp for Noah's Ark and it's just started raining. You know? Figure it out. I would have thought that, you know, we'd be fighting for our bloody lives to get these deals over the line. And what we're doing is we're walking away going, I'll just go and wait in the rain. And we'll drown. We will drown. And that's how I feel. So no taking the piss out of Wilcox with my phone. No taking the piss out of Barada or Sir Jim Radcliffe. I thought Man United were going to be fighting like the third camel trying to get onto Noah's Ark, and instead we're walking away into the rain to drown. And I'm like, where's the fight? Where's the ambition? And yes, we do need three midfielders, but Tchouameni, Tonali, Anderson, all available. We're walking away. We're Craig David FC. We're walking away again because of money. And you know what as well? Like, I have this information. You can get it yourself. I've got it from you couldn't get it from a better source. Tchouameni's wage isn't even that big. For Manchester United to be allowing Romano to say that they like Tchouameni, but the wage is way beyond what they want to pay, he's on 210 grand a week. 210, not 310. He's on 210 grand a week. Even if you offer him 250, I still think it's good. Since when did... I mean, let's round it up. Let's say it's 225. Since when was 225 grand a week too much. As soon as I saw this, the quotes coming out from Romano, I was like, he's not on 300 grand a week. You know, he's on about 225. And we're putting it out there that, you know, we don't want to pay that wage. And yet again, there are some people in our fan base going, good, well done, well done. I mean, do they get excited by football and the prospect of winning, or do they get excited by the, you know, walking away and not paying for things? Yeah, I don't get what that's all about, because that's a fact. His wage is not actually that big at Real Madrid. And you would expect for a Casemiro... I mean, if I was Jim Radcliffe, I would have said, Casemiro's leaving. We're going to have to pay around 250 for his replacement. You know, if you're running a business and your CEO is on a, you know, 300 grand a year and he leaves, if you want a good CEO, you're going to probably go, right, I don't really want to pay 300 grand a week again, but we might have to pay about 250. I mean, as I said, we're replacing Casemiro and we're saying that 210 grand a week's too much. And Mason Mount is a bloody new kit model on £250,000 a week. So I've said this before and I'll say it again. The big problem with Man United is we've got people in charge who won't listen because they think we can be successful with a wage structure that is, you know, comparable to Aston Villa, and a transfer limit budget that is comparable to Everton, and an age limit which is comparable to what Chelsea have been doing for the last 3 years and failed. Hydration break. So yeah, I just it's not that I'm angry this morning. I'm just baffled. You know, we are Camel FC. We are that third camel that should be fighting for its bloody life, and we're not. I'm confused.